Today on Public Eye News, spring weight restrictions on trucks will be expanding again tomorrow, and Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School returned to classes for the first time since the Valentine's Day shooting.
Ryan Gooch will have a look at the heat wave we're experiencing, and Caleb Ryder will have details on sports. Hi, I'm Jillian Wormlinger.
I'm Todd Rose. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of Public Eye News. The Beaumere UP Health Center at Northern Michigan University is currently accepting public nominations for the 2018 Upper Peninsula Fork Life Award. The deadline for nominations is Friday, March the 30th, and the public may nominate both individuals and organizations. The award recognizes those who make a difference in the creation or preservation of Upper Peninsula folk arts, including music, dancing, storytelling, crafts, and food. The award will be given out Tuesday, May 15th at a British Isles benefit dinner. The dinner will be held in the Great Lakes rooms of NMU's University Center. And last year, 59-year-old Michael Keith Burns was scheduled for a trial in August for a criminal sexual conduct before he disappeared. Then, about a month ago, Chippewa County Sheriff's Office added Burns to their most wanted list. The office received a tip that Burns was living in New Mexico under a false name and contacted U.S. Marshals for assistance in arresting Burns. A U.S. Marshal fugitive team arrested Burns without incident, and Burns has been extradited back to Michigan and is awaiting his original trial and will face absconding charges as well.
At approximately 10:10 p.m. yesterday, Gogebic County Sheriff's deputies responded to a report of a domestic disturbance in Marinesco Township. Initial reports were received that the suspect was in possession of a firearm and was using a chainsaw to cut trees to block off entry or exit into the residence. The victim was able to safely flee the residence just before the officers arrived. Officers were able to establish communication with the suspect, and after a short time, he surrendered without further incident. The suspect is a 37-year-old from Marinesco Township, whose name will be released when in court, and he is currently in jail for charges on domestic assault and possession of firearms while intoxicated. And the Bad River community has released an urgent notice after several overdoses in the last 24 hours. The Facebook post on the Bad River Health and Wellness Center page said there is apparently a very strong and toxic type of heroin circulating in around the Ashland area. The post reminds everyone to use naloxone if there is an overdose on an opioid like heroin, and it may reduce the risk of death.
The Michigan Department of Transportation and local agencies are trying to protect roads by establishing additional annual spring weight restrictions. Effective at 6 a.m. tomorrow, weight restrictions will be imposed on most state trunk line highways. Signs are generally posted to indicate which routes have weight restrictions in effect. For weight restriction information and updates, you can receive further information on MDOT's website at www.michigan.gov/truckers under restrictions. And hundreds of people protested outside of the Michigan Capitol building in Lansing following the Florida shooting that left 17 people dead. The Michigan chapter of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America met with policymakers to come up with a solution to gun violence. Organizer Emily Durbin says her group is urging lawmakers to pass red flag legislation. Governor Rick Snyder has called such legislation a, quote, tangible step I hope we can all agree on. And be sure to keep it here, because after our break, we'll be back with national and international news. Stay tuned.
In the depths of winter, even the most frozen wilderness can teem with life.
These are creatures that are specially adapted and have evolved to live in the snowiest, coldest places on Earth.
Meet the ultimate snow survivors.
This coat is perfect for these conditions.
They take winter head on and thrive.
Tonight at 8 after PBS NewsHour.
And welcome back. Dick's Sporting Goods will immediately end the sales of assault-style rifles in its stores and won't sell guns to anyone under 21 years old following the school massacre in Parkland, Florida. Dick's chairman and CEO Edward Stack says that the gunman, Nicholas Cruz, had purchased a gun at the Dick's store, but not the one used at the school shooting, even though all existing rules were followed. Stack says that the system that's in place won't stop sales to dangerous people and said lawmakers must do something. Stack said Dick's is prepared for any potential backlash, but will not change its policies on gun sales. And it's a day some people dreaded and others welcomed in Parkland, Florida. The first day of classes since a former student killed 17 students and teachers at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, Hannah Doba was there for the emotional return.
It was a somber scene outside Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School where students received flowers on their first day back since the Valentine's Day massacre. More than 400 law enforcement officers from around the state were on hand for security, and dozens of parents and community members were there to show support.
I'm nervous, but I'm just happy to see everyone come together and support each other.
Many students wore t-shirts with their school colors and a simple message: MSD strong.
You're all going to be great today.
Fred Gutenberg had encouraging words for students returning to school today, including his son. His 14-year-old daughter, Jamie, was killed in the shooting.
My daughter, the strongest person I knew. She really was.
Inside the school, the day began with fourth period, so teachers and students could reconnect with the people they were with when the shooting started.
It was very relaxing and helpful. I don't know, it was very calm, I guess, pretty sad.
Melissa Bercoli picked up her two kids after school was let out.
So it's been very difficult and extremely sad for all of those victims and their families who don't get to come today and pick up their children.
A former student is charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder. Florida's governor is promising to pass a school safety bill before the state's legislature ends its session next week. Hannah Doba, CBS News, Parkland, Florida.
World-renowned priest Billy Graham died last week at the ripe age of 99. Known for his many acquaintances with different American presidents throughout the years, Graham touched millions in his time alive. He began acquainting himself with presidents beginning with Harry Truman and became especially close with both Lyndon Johnson and Richard Nixon, and even presided at Nixon's funeral. In his time, he wrote dozens of books and had his own column in the newspaper. But his forte was to travel and speak directly to people. He even once filled Yankee Stadium with 100,000 people to preach to them and spoke in 185 different countries. It is said that he preached to more people than any other person in history and is the only preacher to have a Hollywood star. And President Trump's son-in-law and White House senior advisor Jared Kushner will no longer be able to access top-secret material. White House Chief of Staff John Kelly reduced Kushner's temporary security clearance, along with about 3 dozen other administration officials whose background checks are still under review. Mololengi has more details from the White House.
The White House insists Jared Kushner will still be able to do his job despite having his temporary top-secret security clearance downgraded to secret.
He's a valued member of the team, and he will continue to do the important work that he's been doing since he started in the administration.
Chief of Staff John Kelly downgraded the clearance for Kushner and about 3 dozen other administration officials because their backgrounds are still under investigation. Kushner's downgrade means he cannot read top-secret documents, but others with top-secret clearance can summarize them for him. He'll also be denied access to certain National Security Council meetings and top-secret policy deliberations.
The president is expected to keep Kushner as his point man on key foreign policy issues, such as peace talks in the Middle East and trade talks with China and Mexico.
Jared Kushner's right in the middle of that, and he's an extraordinary deal maker.
But some officials in the White House are concerned that Kushner was naive or even being tricked in conversations with foreign officials. Some foreign officials insisted on reaching out directly to Kushner or his wife Ivanka. But his supporters say Kushner has more than held his own during the high-level talks. Mololengi, CBS News, the White House.
And after the break, we'll be back with your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
World for future generations. We're concerned that our planet's well-being isn't as secure as it once seemed. But on every continent, there are new environmentalists who are committed to change. Whether it's an individual a small group, or a grassroots organization.
Sunday night at 11:30 after Concert for George on Public TV 13.
And welcome back. I'm Ryan Gooch. I'm going to be taking you through your weather for today. As you can see behind me, it's pretty sunny out, not a lot of clouds for the students going to class. And looking at your current conditions, it's partly cloudy with a temperature of 33 degrees, winds coming out of the north at 11 miles an hour, and a barometric pressure of 29.98 and rising. And looking to tonight, it's going to be partly cloudy with a low of 23 degrees, winds coming out of the north at 4 miles an hour. And looking at tomorrow, it's going to be cloudy with a high of 32, winds coming out of the north at 14 miles an hour. And looking across the UP, as you can see in Sault Ste. Marie, it's going to be 37 degrees and cloudy. In Manistee, 39 degrees, partly cloudy. And Escanaba, 40 degrees and sunny. And Menominee, 38 degrees and cloudy. And looking to the other half of the UP, in Iron Mountain, it is 39 degrees, partly cloudy. Ironwood, 38 degrees and sunny. And up in the Keweenaw and Houghton, it's going to be 36 degrees and sunny, and back in Marquette, it's going to be 33 degrees and mostly cloudy. And looking ahead, this Friday, it's going to be a high of 33 degrees with a low of 23 and partly cloudy. Saturday, a high of 38 degrees, and a low of 24 degrees and sunny. And Sunday, a high of 41 and a low of 30 and partly cloudy. Now, Caleb, temperatures are starting to heat up this weekend, and things are also starting to heat up in the NFL for the trades, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Things are getting hot out there. The Chicago Bears plan to release quarterback Mike Glennon on May 14th. General Manager Ryan Pace announced at the scouting combine Wednesday. Pace also announced that the team planned to release linebacker Willie Young. The Bears made the decision official Wednesday. Pace has said that he feels good about signing the 28-year-old Glennon after aggressively targeting him in free agency last spring. Young, an 8-year veteran, has been one of Chicago's best pass rushers since he joined the club in 2014, and he signed an extension in the summer of 2016 after he switched from defensive end to outside linebacker. The commissioner of the NBA, Adam Silver, warned teams against the practice of tanking and stated that the conduct like that will result in the swiftest and harshest response possible from the league office. Silver expressed his frustration in a letter that was likely in response to Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, saying, quote, "Losing is our best option," unquote, for which he was fined $600,000. Silver said in the memo to the league that at this time there is no reason to believe the Mavericks are losing on purpose. The bid for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, currently led by the U.S., is getting a strong challenge from Morocco's bid before the major vote. Estimated vote totals say that Morocco is ahead of the North American bid and that Canada and Mexico are also part of it. The winner of the bid must receive 104 of the 211 member nation votes on June 14th. The North American bid is said to have been hurt by President Trump's policies, but that the bid has been countered by stressing the involvement of Canada and Mexico. The parts of Trump's policy that have come under the microscope by soccer officials includes the travel ban that would affect most Arab countries. Trump has also made inappropriate comments about poor countries in the past and may allow Morocco to win the bid. Well, that's all the time we have for you today at Public Eye News. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.